Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Speedify Live Office Hours. I'm your host, Alex Gizis, and this is Kevin. And the people who say I move my hands too much in these videos will have to just deal with it. So this is your chance to ask questions of the brains behind Speedify. So if you have questions about Speedify, you take the old keyboard and type your questions in the comments. And if it's YouTube or Twitch, we will see them and we will respond. Like Grish Labs. Hey, Grish Labs. In general, I'm not going to respond to people saying hello, but special case. Just ask your questions. Dive right in. Feel free to say hello. I'm just not going to put them on screen. Mention them. While you're at it, give us a follow, a like, a smash, a subscribe. Wherever you're watching, whatever the button says, hit it. That would be awesome. All right, so we're going to be live again next week. I won't be here because I'm decrepit and old and getting cataract surgery, so that'll be very exciting for me. That's right. So a week from now, someone will have a knife stuck in my eye. Fantastic. So I guess, what is it? You are you back next week?
I think I am, and Brian.
Oh, nice. The dream team.
Don't they have stuff they can do with lasers now for cataract? I don't know
Maybe.
that much about it. But I thought there was some sort of laser operation where they could break it up or something. But...
No, they're planning to shove a knife in my eye. But don't worry, they don't even put you unconscious. I am so terrified of it. Everyone says it's not that big a deal. All right. So rumor has it that you gave a new version of Speedify over to the QA department for release today. Any truth to that?
Oh yeah, it's not releasing today. I gave it over for testing.
It's the quality assurance department.
Plan is later this week within the next couple days.
So what's in there?
That's good. Some different performance improvements around handling bad connections. There've been some other little features people have asked for. Your ability to remove old adapters is another one. So sometimes if you have different devices that show up as a different interface every time you tether your phone or something, for example, they can build up this list of adapters. We added that in for some people that complained. What else? There were some other little features that people have been asking for that we added in. I'm not remembering off the top of my head.
All right.
But some different bug fixes, different performance improvements, and I'm forgetting at the moment. But we'll have release notes up with
all right.
all the different.
I've actually been secretly writing code for Speedify, but none of it's in this release. It should go in the next release. I've rewritten the entire user interface to look exactly the same. Wish I was joking. It's been the last 3 weeks of my life making Speedify's user interface look exactly the way it does. So how does it look today? That's how it looks today. Because this is actually Speedify running on this Mac Mini in front of us. Do we still have a top view camera? We do not. Oh, look at that. We have a side view camera. Nobody told me about this. Look at this. Holy cow. Color's a little off there. Yeah. But back to Speedify. So this is what Speedify looks like today. So Speedify, for those who are unaware, although I kind of doubt you'd be watching this if you weren't aware, lets you combine internet connections together. It is a VPN, a multipath VPN that can use your Ethernet, your Wi-Fi, your tethered cell phone in this case. That's what the cellular is. It's my phone hung off it. Oh, Kevin, I forgot to put your microphone on.
Nobody wants to hear what I have to say anyway.
People only want to hear what you have to say. They're sitting here tolerating me, waiting for your chance to speak. So it puts together all of your connections, and the green line shows that the speed you're getting in each of the bars is an individual connection, and so you can see it's actually combining the different connections. Right now, not too brilliant. I've got both the Ethernet and the Wi-Fi going to the same Comcast cable modem. If I was smarter, I'd have that Wi-Fi going to the Starlink we have in the other room, because we do have a Starlink on the roof. So to fail over to Starlink is a pretty sweet option when Comcast goes out. But then I've got the cellular from AT&T. It has quality of service. So it recognizes that Twitch and YouTube Live are really, really important. So they're marked into high priority streams. And there they are. You can see it. So it's their packets ahead of anything else. If the Mac tries to decide to run some updates right now, it will purposely slow down the Mac to make sure that the Twitch and the YouTube get through. Sometimes you don't need bonding. Sometimes you just need your software to not be idiotic when you're in the middle of a live stream and sabotage you with the software update. So that, that's Speedify in a nutshell. I could do cool things like pull plugs and stuff, but since I don't have the overhead camera, you can't actually see me do it. But it works. So Speedify gives you, it gives you a speed boost, right? We talked about Speedify. That's why we named it Speedify. But it turns out the people who love it the most, the people who tune in for this call, turns out to be about reliability, right? The fact that your main internet connection can go out and you barely notice. You just keep on trucking because, you switch to the Starlink, you switch to the, the Wi-Fi, you use your tethered cell phone. And the neat thing now, pair and share. Actually, can you do pair and share right here? Can you join up and share with it? Do you have?
I'm not sure what build I have installed at the moment.
You can if you put Speedify in your phone, it can share its cellular over the Wi-Fi with whatever computers you have that are running Speedify. So you can, pair up, and then, if your internet goes out, your Mac can just reach out to the phone in your pocket and use its cellular to keep you online. And that is just, it's magic. So, like I said before, you guys are really quiet today. Normally, you guys are asking away. So you take this thing.
Woo! Nobody uses keyboards anymore. They just talk to me.
Do you?
I use a keyboard, yes.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I'm getting deeper and deeper into mechanical keyboards. I got to admit that right now. So I'm a keyboard guy. Turns out. So seriously, just type in the comments, guys. YouTube, Twitch, whatever. I see people are watching. All right. So Wireshark. Since you guys have no questions about Speedify, I will ask you about Wireshark instead. Is Wireshark the networking tool?
I'd say it's one of the top networking tools, yeah. I would, yeah, there's a bunch of them, but Wireshark is a very important networking tool that, yeah, I use a lot. And I think a lot of networking people use. So I guess talk about what it is. Some people might not be familiar.
I mean, if I was leaving you on a desert island to debug networking tools and you only got one application, which one would you take?
Yeah, that would definitely be in the running. I don't know. I'd have to think, but yeah, that'd probably be one of the top ones that I would. So what Wireshark lets you do is it lets you look at all the packets that are being sent on a network. Different ways to do it depending where you're inspecting. But say for your computer example, you can take what's called a packet capture, and that's looking at all the different bits of information that your computer is sending over the network. And it's typically broken up into different packets with different protocols. And Wireshark lets you see all these different packets and has all sorts of smart tools about dissecting all these packets and putting together streams of them and analyzing them. And you can draw graphs with it, and you can inspect the contents of the packets and look at the headers. Lots of information there that you can see about what's going on your network and how things are performing. And if there's problems, you can sometimes spot them with that, things going wrong or things that are unexpected traffic that you don't expect to be there. It can be very useful for spotting.
It's really crazy. I love Wireshark. It runs on everything: Mac, Windows, Linux. I don't think it runs on phones, but for all I know, it does. But any of the desktop platforms it runs on, and it really shows you everything going across your network. You can see DNS requests. In the old days, before HTTPS, you could actually see the web pages go by in packets. But it's really interesting to see which devices on your network are connecting to China. who's hitting, ads.google.com, that new light switch of yours. Who's it connecting to? I find that stuff fascinating. So, given that, what's the most surprising thing that you've seen in Wireshark?
So yeah, there's a recent story where we were testing our routers, Speedify on routers, and we're getting a complaint.
Actually, on this router,
Yeah.
So the Miri X510, it is a fantastic router that comes with Speedify installed. And they contact us and they're like, we have a customer who's having real problems with this thing.
Yeah,
so
slowing down.
Weird.
Sometimes it'd be fine, and sometimes it was just randomly slowing down a lot slower than you would expect it to. What is going on? So looking at the Speedify logs, I see that there are thousands of new network requests every second coming into Speedify. That's not typical. They didn't have too many devices connected to the router doing too much. So weren't expecting that level of traffic.
Not like thousands of packets.
Yeah, thousands of new network requests every second. Yeah.
Like, I'm about to start downloading a file. I'm about to start downloading a file. I'm about to start downloading a file. I'm about to start, thousands of those.
Yeah, it's very atypical. So we started looking at packet captures, looking with Wireshark at what was coming into the router and from some of the different devices. And we found that there was this Windows computer running NDI Remote, this software put out by NDI. And it's supposed to allow you to kind of, I think, remotely access and control and do some video streaming. NDI does video streaming over the local network and other things, but I think this was allowing you to do some remote control and video streaming.
Mostly great stuff,
yeah.
but...
but yeah, so we found out that this program was going absolutely crazy and doing what's called a SYN flood, basically a type of denial of service attack where it was just trying to open thousands and thousands of new TCP connections and basically not fully opening them, just sending the request to open them over and over and over again. And yeah, we had the customer turn off the program and it stopped and performance went back to normal on the router. So yeah, this program was completely overwhelming the router with requests.
So we reached out to NDI and said, there seems to be a problem. Why is your program doing this? And what did they do?
They took the program down.
they took the program down, immediately told everyone to uninstall it. Don't run it again. It can't be fixed. There isn't a new version coming. Get it off your computers. So what we believe is that it got hacked and that it was part of a botnet and that hackers were connecting in and using it to launch attacks.
Yeah, that's our suspicion. Yeah.
Speedify, great at streaming, not so great at participating in attacks. So we turned out Speedify got slow because it was launching an attack on us. Yeah. It was probably trying to launch an attack on someone else. I don't know.
I think it was trying to actually.
I think we were an accidental victim.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so that was a surprising thing, but. There's lots of good things you can do with Wireshark too. But
all right, Kevin, does your family constantly ask you to come over and help with their computers?
Sometimes, not as much anymore. But yeah, I mean, I still get requests. When some of my grandparents were still alive, I would get more requests of that, but less of those these days.
I go over to my parents' house and remove all the McAfee products every couple weeks. Just malware. It comes back, you uninstall it, and then you come back a few weeks later and somehow McAfee antivirus is installed again. And they swear they didn't do it. Something dark is going on there. All right. David wonders if we could go a bit deeper on regarding PEP, MTUs, and why it's only available on routers. Wondering how it actually works, if you can speak about this.
Yeah, so I can go into more detail. So I guess why it's only available on routers is that's where it's most useful, and I'll go into explaining why. We technically could do it on other Linux devices, but it's less of a benefit there.
And we can't do it on a bunch of the Apple platforms.
Right. Yeah, we could kind of. There's ways we could maybe pseudo do it, but not the same way that we do it. It wouldn't be quite the same level of benefit that we get. on some of the Linux devices. But anyway, so what it's doing is that when connections from client devices are coming into the router, traditionally without the PEP, Speedify takes these connections into the virtual TON adapter, the VPN adapter, and does all its magic to send over different connections, sends them up to the server, and the server sends it out to the internet. And so, a couple different reasons why we wanted this PEP feature. One is that when you're sending over this path, especially when you're going over different links and different paths of the internet, you have the path between the client device and the router goes at one speed, your local LAN or your local Wi-Fi, and then you have your different internet connections, potentially multiple with Speedify, that all go at different speeds. And then you have the speed from the server out to whatever destination on the internet is usually a very fast connection, depending where it's going. So you kind of have these different paths with different speeds. And so if you create a TCP connection that goes all the way through there, it kind of has to drop down to the lowest common denominator, basically. What the PEP allows you to do is kind of split up that path in different parts. So you do, it intercepts the connections coming into the router and terminates them right at the router. And then it's able to send that traffic up to the Speedify server, and then it makes a new connection out to the destination. So you basically have 3 independent paths that can operate at their own speeds. And yes, end to end, you still have to, buffer and go to the lowest common speed, but it allows you to more quickly send, between the client and the router and between the server and the internet. And Speedify in the middle can have some more liberties about what it does with the bonding. Make things more efficient and less likely for the TCP connection to slow down as we're doing bonding. The other benefit, though, is that typically when you're sending between your client device and your router, you're limited by the physical MTU of the network. Either your Wi-Fi or your Ethernet is one particular size. And so when those packets are coming into the virtual adapter, we're reading them at that size, and that's a certain level of efficiency. If they're a smaller packet, it's more costly for us to read them versus if we read a big block of data. So by having the PEP terminate the TCP connection, we can then read big chunks of data off the TCP connection, and then that allows the router to take advantage of segmentation offloading and stuff like that in the network interfaces, give us big blocks of data, and then we can process that virtually over the Speedify tunnel and handle big chunks of data more efficiently. So it also gives a big performance boost for going through the router. So why it's not as efficient on just like a regular Linux device is we're already getting those larger packets locally on the Linux device. If you just have an application that's creating traffic and sending it right through the adapter, it doesn't have that limitation of your local LAN or local Wi-Fi, and we can already just process big packets. So there's not as much of a benefit there. I mean, there still could be some, but it's more of a benefit for client devices on a router.
Yeah, so a lot of smarts go into MTU stuff, right? Yeah. Maximum transmission unit. How big can a packet be? And it's completely built into IPv6 now, right? That it figures out what's the biggest packet you can send to the server, and it uses that. And that turns out to be the smallest, the size supported by the smallest link between you guys. But that's not really ideal, right? Because a lot of times that first link, the Wi-Fi or your cellular connection, can't handle full-size packets. But man, the server you're talking to, it wants giant packets.
Yeah, because basically there's an overhead cost to writing every packet or handling every packet, and the more bytes you can process in a packet, the more efficient you can be with certain system calls and things like that. So it's more expensive to write 1,000 little packets, or close to the same cost to write 1,000 little packets versus 1,000 big packets. You can process a lot larger chunks of data at once when you're handling bigger chunks of packets. Encryption can be faster. Lots of different things there that you can benefit from handling larger chunks of data at once.
All right. Hold on a second. I'm doing something here. All right. You keep talking, Kevin.
Okay. So it was so I think that's all about the PEP.
All right. So I got Wireshark here. So this is a screenshot. We were talking about Wireshark. What Wireshark actually looks like. Silly us, we don't actually have Wireshark on this computer we live stream from. Yeah. We keep nothing but the streaming software on it. It's the sacred computer that no one can break. So what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so it's a list of packets. All the different packets get sent, so you can see, the time that they got sent. In this case, it's talking about the time since the beginning of the capture, but you can change to show, actual clock time and stuff. But then it shows IP addresses, the source of where it's sent from, and the destination that it's going to. So you can see packets going one direction originate from a source out to a public IP on the internet, and packets coming back in are usually destined for your local IP address and coming from an IP address on the internet. And then Wireshark does all this analysis. It looks at the headers and pulls all sorts of information out of the packets. So you can see different protocols. There's TCP packets. And then on top of that, you have HTTP packets. There's DNS packets. And so Wireshark does all this analysis and gives you extra information about what's going on, what the different ports being used are, and you can see new connections. So there's different flags on TCP connections, SYN packets, and SYNAC packets means that a connection is starting.
Good. All right. Sorry.
Okay, so we had some technical adjustments.
People are telling us to adjust our audio settings, so we just adjust them. Hopefully we sound better, though I don't know what the problem was that we're adjusting for.
Like a little bit of reverb.
A little bit of reverb. All right. So
yeah, so I mean, you can see down in the bottom pane, it shows you the actual data bytes of the packet, and you can jump in and look at all the different headers and expand different pieces of it. The way network packets work is there's layers of headers. So you have your Ethernet header where it's getting transmitted over the kind of the physical layer, and then on top of that you have the internet protocol, IPv4, IPv6 layer would be on top of that, and that tells you where the packet's going, where it's coming from, and then you have your different protocol, TCP or UDP on top of that, and so it kind of goes down the stack. Then you have application below that, but so it gives you all the information there. You can see all the different bits of the packet, and it's very useful for kind of diagnosing what's going on.
All right. So we got some questions. We've been ignoring the audience here. Money Bass, additional info. I will be streaming bass fishing tournaments from various lakes. Awesome. My best advice is make sure you have 2 internet connections. The obvious is 2 cellular, and it could be the cellular built into your phone, plus you join the hotspot of another cell phone. That's good enough if it's on, especially if it's on a different carrier. Now you have 2 connections, and if you end out in a spot where one of them doesn't work, the other one should.
Was there more to his additional info? Is there something else?
Oh yeah. All right. So I will be using Speedify on my iPhone for live streaming connection to a Starlink Mini. It's beneficial to connect my iPhone to my secondary phone along with Starlink.
Yes.
Yes. So one way to do it with pair and share is have the other phone also join the Starlink. It's Wi-Fi, right? The Starlink Mini makes a Wi-Fi hotspot. And if you both join it, then the pair and share, you'll get internet from the Starlink, and you'll be able to pair and share through the Starlink without using its satellite, just the Wi-Fi, to the other phone to ask to use its cellular. And that could save you.
Yeah, because I mean, Starlink's great when it works, but yeah, there can be times where it drops out or has little glitches, and being able to cover that up with a cell signal can really
for
save
live
the day.
streaming. I feel like Starlink is not good enough, right? For like things where 30 seconds of buffering is fine. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's great for email and stuff, but for live streaming, you just need one more ability to switch to cellular or whatever. All right. Steven says, I love pair and share. I use it daily, but I hate my phones and laptop need the same network. Why can't my Apple devices just talk directly to each other to share the internet? There were a lot of improvements in iOS 26. So that is back on discussion. To be honest, in 2024, we mostly built it and it wasn't good enough. But they fixed a lot of stuff. So it's back on the agenda in the sense that we were talking about it yesterday and things.
But yeah, we would definitely love that too. That was our initial vision that, it's annoying to be on the same network. That, the Apple stuff should be able to just talk to each other. And, the other issue is, you're restricted to the Apple stuff trying to get to interoperate with other stuff is annoying, but it seems like there might be possibilities of interoperating with Android directly now. So we have to see whether that ends up working. But yeah, it was kind of annoying that only your Apple devices could talk to each other.
All right. All right. So let's see. Rev says, I use Speedify right now. Starlink Mini, 2 5G cards, and an ADSL bonded.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because ADSL, I'm like, oh, 1.5 megabits up. What would you use that for? And the answer is you add it to a Starlink. Because sometimes the Starlinks are 50 megabits, and sometimes they're 1, but, 1 plus 1.5 is you're still online, right? Yeah, so ADSL plus Starlink, and it can be a huge, huge improvement. All right, Steven says, also, please, please, please let me reset my colors for the adapters and add a color wheel.
So resetting color, you should be able to change the color currently. We are adding in the next release the ability to remove old adapters that are claiming colors and free up colors.
Yes. That is what he's talking about there. So, yeah, you can free up the old ones.
But color wheel, that's currently not in our plans, but we can think about that for the future, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
why we have such a limited palette.
Yeah.
Someone here strongly believes it's right. It's not me, man. Yeah, we need more colors, and whether it's a color wheel or just another 30 colors to pick from that are a little more varied. I hear you. Can you leave the video on demand for the live streams? Probably.
I think we do.
We usually do.
They should show up on our channel.
There was one not so long ago where, I don't know, I didn't like it. So I didn't put it up. I'm echoing now like crazy. All right.
Yeah, I think I guess that's what they were trying to fix.
There. So Ryan just ran in.
Are we better now?
Are we better now? Yeah. Is the echo fixed?
Okay. I think he says sound is good.
All right. Yeah, it sounds so good. All right. Wondering if VPNs can help trick bandwidth and traffic limiters. Is this related to MTUs?
Depends how they work. Usually not. If they're just looking at number of bytes that you've sent over a time period, then a VPN is not gonna trick that. If they're doing more advanced inspecting and limiting certain flows of traffic, the VPN would hide that, and so they might not see the certain traffic and slow them down. Like if you're going to try and limit access to certain services to certain speeds, the VPN could get you around that, as long as they're not just limiting the VPN in general. Sometimes we see that from certain connections. They don't recognize what the VPN is, and so they just slow that down. But yeah, usually, mostly if it's just a global limit, it's not going to get around that.
All right. Yeah. Steven asks, actually, I got one story. There used to be a coffee shop near our office. And I don't think they do this anymore. But they limited each user on the guest Wi-Fi like 2 megabits. And so I discovered that if I got a USB Wi-Fi adapter, plugged it into my Windows computer, and unfortunately this doesn't work on Macs anymore, I could use both Wi-Fis to join the network twice. Speedify bonded it, and now I had 4 megabits. Woo!
The Amtrak train used to work like that too, right? There used to be like 3 megabits on the Amtrak train or something. And
I mean,
it was
the
so
Amtrak
horrible
train,
anyway.
It was so horrible. It was actually hard to tell what they were trying to do. Right? It was terrible. All right. So yes, please, iOS 26 has support for please. Yeah, parent share. Also, Apple Watch. I'd love to see some Speedify stats at a glance, especially when I'm live streaming. Yeah, so some Speedify stats at a glance is possible for us to do. The actually making Speedify run on your watch, unless something really changed recently, Apple doesn't want things this complicated on your watch. The interesting thing is unless you are using the LTE, if you're using Wi-Fi on the watch, it generally uses the Wi-Fi to get to your phone for your phone to then use the internet for you. So most of the watch's traffic ends out getting Speedified if you have Speedify on your phone. You can actually see it in the graph if you do wacky things on your watch. A lot of times your Speedify graph on your phone will suddenly start doing things if you watch it carefully. But you can't actually put Speedify on a watch. You know, some watch face that has the phone. That sounds possible. We're not working on it, but I'll add to the list. Sounds like Speedify could be used in penetration testing or other cybersecurity processes, such as firewalls.
Yeah, I mean, we added a firewall feature in our last release where you can block particular traffic coming through Speedify. But yeah, I don't know about penetration testing necessarily.
Yeah. So it's pair and share with watch and phone. I mean,
watch itself doesn't. I guess
yeah. So I guess the way the watch talks to the phone is surprisingly like how our pair and share works today.
Yeah.
It goes across the Wi-Fi, not to get to the internet, but to get to your phone, to ask your phone to go to the internet for it.
Or does it use
which
the
I hadn't thought about that before, but that is very similar to how pair and share is working, right?
Yeah. Is the I'm assuming the watch is using the direct peer-to-peer communication, right? Or is it just actually using the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, if you're in Bluetooth range, it'll use the Bluetooth. But if you leave your phone on your desk and go down to your kitchen, the watch is still online. In that case, it's using the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And if you watch your Wi-Fi router, like Connect by Hotspot, where you can see everything that's on your device, as soon as your phone joins a hotspot, usually you see watch join. 10 seconds later, whoop, just pops right on there. Because your phone will actually send the username and password to get on what hotspot it's on and the username and password over Bluetooth to the watch, so the watch can jump on the Wi-Fi. So, complicated. All right. There you go, Abner 3. There's your list of the VODs. I think one's missing. There was one show I really wasn't happy with. We won't discuss that again. All right. My Notepad++ is freaking out. Please help.
Yeah, I haven't looked into this. Apparently, it got hacked somehow. I haven't seen any more than the headline about that. I need to look in more detail. There was something this morning about Notepad++ getting hacked.
Yeah, so read the news. Sounds like something really happened. Notepad++ getting... Man, yeah, I would have thought, like, that's safe.
Yeah.
All the applications out there,
Yeah, what is that doing? I don't know. But maybe it has something where it executes stuff and it can trick it into executing scripts of some sort. I don't know. I'm guessing it has advanced features to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I think you should take this kind of seriously, right? I think you should quit Notepad++, go read what people are saying about Notepad++. Sorry, we're not completely up to date on this, but I think it's really hacked. That's a problem. Hopefully Notepad++ doesn't get taken down the way NDI Remote did. Kevin's history of destroying applications people like. Oh, man. Yeah, so... Oh, it was Notepad++ update mechanism that was hacked. That means they can trick you into installing evil software. And if it's freaking out, I think you did already. Uh-oh. Uninstall. It's antivirus time, man. I'm not normally a huge fan of antivirus, but I think you need it now. All right. Let's go. I've lost the cursor. Oop. I've lost the cursor. Oh, well. So, yeah. Things to say. Speedify Live, office hours, back next week. I won't be here, but it sounds like Kevin and Brian will be. So, have fun. We have a whole bunch of videos on our YouTube shorts. That is worth checking out. You guys, most of you are watching on YouTube. It looks like some are on Twitch, but that's cool. YouTube or Speedify. We've got all these videos about, Siri and AI and satellites and putting GPUs in orbit and how much sense that makes. None. So sad. And that's all fun. See, for those of you who have even the vaguest interest, I really do recommend Wireshark to install it on your desktop and fire it up and see, things like this and actually see all the traffic going by. It is a fun way to see what's really going on in your Wi-Fi and what applications on your computer are connecting where. I mean, Wireshark actually it's up to thousands of protocols.
Oh yeah, it can inspect all. There are so many advanced features in Wireshark. I don't know all of them by any stretch of the imagination. There's all sorts of menus and crazy features and things that you can do for inspecting different protocols and analyzing stuff and drawing graphs and all sorts of.
Also, if you think about it, it can be educational for privacy purposes.
Yeah.
If you don't have a VPN, this is what your ISP sees about you.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised how much goes on in the background. I mean, you think your computer's just sitting there not doing anything. You bring up Wireshark, there's stuff spewing all the time out to the internet, and
yeah,
it's surprising. Or even just on your local network, it's surprising.
So,
but you can filter things with Wireshark. It can be daunting seeing this giant list of packets with it. You can learn there's all this filtering syntax where you can filter down to see only packets of a particular type, or only from a particular
just looking at
source.
DNS packets.
Yeah.
If you just look at DNS packets, you basically get the names of all the servers coming by that all the programs on your computer are talking to, and that alone, super educational.
Yeah.
Right? Is it connecting to who you think it is? You may well find that you are sending a lot more traffic to Facebook and Google and companies in China you've never heard of than you would ever have imagined. So, all right. Follow-up question from Moneybass. I have Speedify on the iPhone that I use to live stream. Does my secondary phone have to be connected to the Starlink to sync it to the iPhone through Speedify? There has to be a connection between them. In some cases, I understand some of the newest Android phones, you can USB tether them to an iPhone, and the iPhone will see it as an Ethernet router and use it. But it's not all Android phones. There's a bunch of things it needs.
Yeah, so probably easiest.
The easiest is to have them on the same hotspot. I mean, if you're streaming from a computer, then I would actually say easiest is just a USB cable. Can I turn the hotspot on the Samsung? Well, yes, you could turn the hotspot on the Samsung, and your iPhone could join that, and now you can pair and share over that. But now because an iPhone can only join one hotspot at a time, now it's not on the Starlink.
Yeah.
Right? That's the trick. The Androids and the iPhones can both make hotspots or join them, but you've got a Starlink that can only make a hotspot, can't join it, unless there's some setting I don't know about, but I really don't think there is. No, there definitely isn't. Yeah. You can also Ethernet to it, but your phones don't have Ethernet ports.
Right. You can get a USB Ethernet that plugs into the bottom of your phone, but then you're tethered to your Starlink, and I'm assuming you want to be moving around while you're filming or whatever, that you don't want to be standing within a few feet of your Starlink. But if that's an option, you can also do that.
Yeah, iPhones these days actually do support USB Ethernet devices. You actually can run a cable to your phone, and Speedify will see it. Like, whoop, you'll get another. Normally you see the Wi-Fi and the cellular, but if you plug a USB Ethernet in there, you will get a third row there on your iPhone in Speedify.
That's how we did years ago, the iPad.
We did 16. We connected a USB hub and 16 USB Ethernet cards. Connected Ethernet connections to all of them. They all showed up on the iPad. And a gentleman at Apple contacted us and said that he had written that code. And he was super happy to see that someone had finally used it. There's like one guy at Apple who knew that you could connect large numbers of Ethernets. He'd probably spent months getting that to work right. And we were the first people to use it. All right. Okay. I'm still trying to understand how Speedify connects to multiple cellular. Right now, I see the Starlink and the iPhone cellular are connected on Speedify.
Right. So in terms of directly physically connecting to the cellular, you're not going to have the option, but we have our what we call our pair and share feature, where another device running Speedify on the same network can share its cellular with your phone. So if you run Speedify on both your iPhone and your Android phone, and you enable the pair and share feature, you want to enable sharing from your Android phone and set it up to be receiving on your iPhone. I mean, if you're logged in with the same account, you put them on the same network, enable pair and share, they should find each other and pair. But you can set it up so that, you know, the iPhone's not sharing to the Android phone if you don't want to. You just want the Android phone sharing to the iPhone. You can set it up and they should see each other over the local network. And when you connect Speedify, you should see the Android cellular show up as another row in Speedify.
All right, might be worth changing video on demands from unlisted to public to help with visibility. Might be. I'll talk to people. I think there are reasons. I don't know what they are. I think these days we're clipping the good parts out of these. Like I feel like a lot of these conversations are interesting when they're live because you guys can actually ask questions and we respond to you and we talk about what you want us to talk about. I think sometimes when people are watching videos afterwards, they like things to be a little bit more organized and more to the point because they don't have a chance to interact with us. But I don't know. I'll ask people. I don't know if there's any harm in making them completely public. But yeah, I definitely think we have more success when we edit them down a little bit. All right, Moneybass says, great, thanks. That answers my question. I didn't understand that they both had to have Speedify on both phones. Do I need to purchase Speedify service for both phones or can it be shared? It can be shared. You can use it on like 5 phones at once for one purchase. So,
yeah, if you purchase directly through the App Store on your iPhone, you just need to make sure Speedify asks you to register it to an email address, and that'll allow you can log in with that account then on your Android phone.
Or you can just go to speedify.com, buy it, and then you have
right. Yeah, depending if you already purchased,
username password that you can use to purchase. But yeah, if you bought on the iPhone, there's an option to register your purchase where you give us your email address, and at that point you can use the account with the email address to log into the Android phone because there's issues with Google Play versus Apple Store. But if we have your email address, we can sort it out for you magically in the background. All right, I think that is it. We've been going for 45 minutes here, and it's been awesome. Thanks for all the questions, guys. Abner, Money Bass, Mr. Wright, Bob, so many of you. This was really good. I was a little nervous. We start off a little slow and quiet. But that let us talk about Wireshark, which is really what was on our mind anyway.
But yeah, if you have questions or issues we didn't get to, you can reach out to support@speedify.com, and we can help you there.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, everybody. See you all online.